Hey guys.
Wait a minute. Don't be busting up the routine.
Okay, go ahead.
Hey guys, this is Brian. No, that's not even gonna work now. Hey guys, this is Brian.
And I'm Allison.
And this is.
Our life in front of the bleachers.
So we're doing this series now on losing. Losing is always difficult. You can lose coaches, you can lose players from the team, you can lose games, you can lose your cool. There's just so many different facets of the sport that can be either won or lost, kept or lost. But losing hurts more than anything else. And on the field's one thing, but then when you lose off the field, it's a total different element. And I take it personal when kids go awry. They go the wrong way. When they don't do things the right way. When they start choosing other aspects of life rather than what I would think is right for them. And I can't be there for them all, and we can't. Everybody says you can't save them all, and I don't know that's necessarily the way we think about it. It's not saving; it's just offering opportunity to look for better and offer an opportunity to do better. And when I was at my first head coaching gig, we had the state's longest losing streak, and a lot of kids didn't want to play. And we had some kids when they were younger. They just kind of bought into whatever you were telling them because they didn't know any better. You're their only coach. Some of the kids who are already at the school and have endured other coaches or losing or whatever it was on the field, you're just the next guy. So sometimes it's easier to sell young players because you're all they know. And we had a good group of young players who were willing to work really hard. And we had this one young man who had a ridiculously good motor, and he would play hard. And he was a wild one now. He was just always going at it. He just had a good time all the time in life. And
He's fun to watch.
he was fun to be around. And, he like every other teenager, was impressionable and wanted to have fun outside of football. And I think sometimes he probably didn't have the right kind of fun, but whatever it was, it never led him astray from football and doing what was right. And then, he got in trouble a little bit here and there at school, but nothing that was too bad. His grades were okay, and he was trying to make amends and do those things. But, he just was one of those guys. I don't think he ever wanted to be in school. I don't think he ever wanted to be that college academician, but he really loved football and he loved, working with his hands and doing some stuff. So going into his senior year, you know, he had come to me and he said, Coach, I want to do good. I want to start doing right in life and make sure I don't do everything wrong. And I don't think he was doing anything real wrong. And it was
He's a
just,
teenager.
he's just a teenager. But he said, Coach, I noticed you wear those raggedy old sunglasses that I'd found them when I was mowing the grass on the field. Somebody must have lost it and part of it got run over by the mower, but it was good enough to have hanging off my face a little bit, but they were cheap enough. He said, Look, I got these older sunglasses. I'm getting ready to get some new ones, and I'd like to switch sunglasses with you. I said, Well, why? He said, I just want to be reminded that, the things that you're telling me to do and what I need to do. And I said, Well, that's pretty cool, buddy. He said, he also wanted to show me his list of goals. He had a list of goals of what he wanted to do and what he wanted to accomplish and some things that it's like, man, buddy, you really are listening. You're trying to do everything right. You're making hope in the future. You're trying to figure out what it is. So, he gave me these sunglasses and I keep them to this day. And many times I just put them on top of my head just to remind myself that, the kids learn on their own pace. They don't always learn, and when you think that they're not, they're probably listening. They're processing something later on. Before that, I'd had about 2 years earlier, I had another kid on the team, and this is what changed me a good bit as a coach, at least in my approach to disciplining kids versus getting rid of kids. And it's a very fine line, especially when you're trying to build a program because you don't want anybody to take advantage of you. You don't want anybody to take advantage of your rules and feel like they're getting away with something and then create resentment because everybody else thinks he's getting away with things. So you're constantly thinking, how do I do this fairly? And this other young person had played for us too, was a pretty good player, and he'd broken some team and school rules. So when I was starting it off, I had to be that stickler. I gotta remove them. I can't. They gotta go because if I didn't set the tone, then everybody else gonna feel like I'm letting
And
them
you were
down.
young,
Yeah, I was 28 years old, and
so
I
we're still learning.
yeah, and but you look back in retrospect, and you just look at it. Okay, so I kicked him off the team, and what could I have done to maybe help that young person? Well, the one I was speaking of that gave me the glasses had a terrific senior year, and he had hung around some people before. He'd got friends all over because he was a social butterfly. Had friends with everybody, and his senior year, he had goals and plans. We had a plan for what hopefully he was going to do, and he went to a party uh, several months after the season, and as a senior, he went to this party and he ran into that young man that I'd kicked off the team. And the young man I kicked off the team had turned a different route in life and certainly wasn't doing everything he was supposed to do. And according to the witnesses there, that they had a altercation or something. I don't know, but
There was a gun.
there was a gun, and he got shot in the heart, and evidently he died on the spot. So, uh, you know, one young man went to jail, another one went to the grave, and you know, going to that funeral um, and watching that go down and watching the family struggle. Uh, that was the day I applied for another job because as soon as that funeral was over, I just said,
We
"It's too
couldn't do it.
much. It's too much. I'm kind of by myself, and you see these people uh, dying too soon. They're going by the wayside. And I just didn't have the energy anymore, and I felt like I was not helping anymore. So it was the last day for applications at this job, a place I'd never heard of. And it was 5 o'clock in the evening, and I called the number, and it rang and it rang and it rang and it rang, and I was scared to hang up. And somebody answered and said, "Like high school?" And I said, "Yes, sir. I was wondering if it was too late to apply." He's like, "Well, I was just walking out the door. I'm the principal. If you can get me that resume by tomorrow morning, I'll include you." And several weeks later, I got the job. But I just look back, those kind of losses. Uh, when I put the glasses on in the morning, I put them on my head. It ain't every day. I'd be lying to say every day I think of it the right way. But there
No,
are
but
many
you
times.
did for years always wear those glasses to the point where I think we've gone through
Several instances.
several lenses, and the company's very sweet to send them to us.
Yeah. And it's both of those young people. There's both of those young people on every team.
Yeah.
It's not just the kids that fall in suit and do what you ask them. What if I hadn't kicked him off the team? You know, what if I had done better? Uh, what if I'd have been able to use the wisdom that I have at this age at 50 back when I was 29? Those what ifs, those are losses that you ain't going to get back. It ain't a game. Those kids aren't with us anymore. And I sympathize with those families. I sympathize with the mamas and the daddies who never got to experience what we get to experience with our sons, or even the players we're coaching today. So, yeah, it hurts. Loss hurts. Uh, Nothing more than that. And uh, I love you for being a part of that. And it's sad that those things have happened. And it seems like it happens at more and more in so many different settings today. And we as coaches take on a good bit, in our communities. We're the leaders, especially on our teams. We're supposed to be leaders at home. We're supposed to be leaders all the way through, and we have weak moments. There are things that have happened that bring us to our knees, and that's one of those that I look back with regret because what if? What if I'd done a little bit more? Maybe we'd have two more people out in the world doing great things, and instead of us just having to reminisce about their lives. What are your thoughts as you look at being a coach's wife and knowing all those things in the past? How hard is it looking at these kids today?
Um,
Because you're on the front end. You're not a high school teacher.
no,
You
but
deal
at
with
one
much
point
younger
I
ages.
do with younger age, but I know when seeing boys, like, you're just crying, it just, oh,
Yeah,
it hurts. And, you know, I think just the time that you guys, I think football spends so much time together. Um,
yeah. Most senior classes spend in excess of 3,000 hours with me, whether it be at practice, in the weight room, at camps, doing different outings. So you're talking about 3,000 hours. We probably spend more time with those young people than their parents get to during high school. So yeah, it's different. You're
it
exactly
it
right.
is so they do become a part of our family, and hopefully we become part of theirs if we're lucky. Um, so when things like that happen, or kids go don't listen to the rules and they decide that they can do the things by themselves and they quit, it hurts. It's
Yeah, because you see that that's the past that we use as reference that we're saying, oh, same stuff's gonna happen. So you hate to be a soft heart. You don't want to be one that just gives and gives and gives. You want to try to make sure you afford as many opportunities for kids to make that change, but they're still kids. Their brain's not going to develop till the mid 20s, but at the age of, like you said, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 years old,
there's
they don't know. And, I didn't know. And now I wish I had those kind of the wisdom that I had today. Maybe I could have found somebody else if it wasn't me, somebody else on my staff, somebody else in the community. Somebody could have talked to them in a way they understand. But I failed, and I look back on it, and every time I try to look at those glasses or put glasses on my head, don't fail today. There's got to be some, and they still do it, and you still have to make those decisions, and they hurt now, maybe even more than those decisions back when I was 28, 29, because I have the shame of regret, knowing that if I don't try and I don't help them, this is what could happen. So I want to make sure I'm doing everything in my power most days to set standards, hold them to those standards, but still
give them chances.
give them chances, but still know that they're still kids. And I don't know, it's just not easy, and it gets harder and harder because there's so many pull factors away from sports. There's so many more easier avenues, or so many easier avenues, whether it be technology, playing video games, other sports that are easier. And you hate to say easier, they don't require the
Require more
time
time.
as much as we do. So I'm hoping that we can continue, because you've done a great job on that, is being that extra person to console them, just like a mama would when daddy's hard on them. You'll go over to them and say, "You know better than that. You know better. You need to be quiet," or
Or
whatever.
just
Take the emotion.
stand behind him. He
Well,
not, it's okay.
this ain't
Just
the
be
time to
right
talk
there.
about it. That's right. But you know better because you've seen it, and you know that the emotions get tied up, and we make stupid decisions when we're emotional, because emotions are liars, and we got to figure out how to get through them. And as young people, they're very emotional, and we try to figure out how to steer them through those emotions so that they can learn right from wrong, and how to make sure that bad decisions don't come from bad emotions. But either way, they hurt, and those are the losses we remember the most.
Yep.
Well, guys, I know that wasn't the nicest and most enthusiastic of shows, but it's
But
still,
it's part of our
yeah,
life in front of the bleachers.
yeah, sure is. Till next time, take care.